We are going to get into Dark Castle's second film, which also coincidentally is another William Castle remake. Let's do it. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Now today, like I said, I just did House on Haunted Hill the other day. We're going to talk about 13 Ghosts today, and I'm going to do Ghost Ship. I'll review out for that this weekend. Now, this film came out 2 years after House on Haunted Hill. This one came out October 26th of 2001. Had a budget of $42 million, and upon release that October, it made $68.5. It's rated R. It's an hour and 31 minutes long, so it's kind of in line with House on Haunted Hill, around the same runtime. Now, to direct this film, they brought in a first-time feature film director. Steve Beck is the gentleman's name. He had filmed a commercial before this, and before that, he was a visual effects guy. He'd done visual effect. He'd worked on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and The Hunt for Red October and some other films, but this was his first theatrical film. Now, this is also another film in Dark Castle's coffers that was a remake of a William Castle film. He made a film in 1960 called 13 Ghosts. The only difference is in this film, the characters need the special glasses to see the ghosts as they're going around the house, as we'll get into in a second. But in the original film, the gimmick was, because William Castle was big on gimmicks to sell his films, the audience needed to wear the glasses, special glasses, to see the ghosts when they were watching the film. Now, in this film, we have a decent cast here. We have Tony Shalhoub as Arthur, the father, the patriarch of this family that we're going to talk about. Shannon Elizabeth plays Kathy, his daughter. We have Matthew Lillard as Dennis. Matthew Lillard in this movie plays kind of like this psychic. He can sense paranormal activity, or if he touches somebody, he can see some of the horrible things that have happened in their lives, or even some futuristic events that might be taking place. And then we have F. Murray Abraham as Cyrus. He is this rich guy. He's actually Arthur's uncle, and he hunts ghosts. And that's how we start our film, in this junkyard. We see all these crushed cars stacked up, kind of very reminiscent of Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3 and 4, when they're in the junkyard. And we're introduced to Matthew Lillard's character and F. Murray Abraham's character having a discussion about this ghost they're trying to catch here, who was a serial killer when he was alive, and after he died, he continued killing people just as a ghost. And they're having a conversation, and somebody happens to say something about a 13th ghost, and Matthew Lillard's character, like, look, you only contracted me for 12. There's no talk about a 13, and F. Murray Abraham's kind of just like, what's one more? And he goes, okay, bring in the bait. And Matthew Lillard's character is like, what? We never needed bait before. And all of a sudden you see this water truck come pulling down this driveway in between the crushed cars, and it's spraying blood everywhere. It's a fantastic opening sequence. I really like it. It actually is probably the best part of the film, although there's a couple moments later on that are pretty cool. But this is definitely the coolest part of the film. And all of a sudden the ghost shows up and starts killing this team in gruesome ways. Like, one guy gets bent in half as he's pulled into this car. And it's pretty cool stuff. But they bring this glass cube out, almost like a trap from Ghostbusters, only it's this pretty big glass cube that a full-size human can fit in no problem. And they catch the ghost, but F. Murray Abraham's character gets killed in the process, or so we think. Then we have the credits, then we're introduced to Arthur and Kathy, and they have a brother, well, Kathy's little brother and Arthur's son, and they have a nanny who lives with them as well. And pretty soon after we're introduced to this family, they just had a tragedy a few months before. They had a fire at their house, and Arthur's wife passed away in the fire. And so the family is definitely in turmoil. They hear a knock at the door. This lawyer comes to talk to him, and this lawyer worked for Cyrus. And he has some good news for them, that Cyrus left them his house in his will. And he shows this video from Cyrus, and Cyrus pretty much says, I know we weren't close in life, but you're pretty much my only living relative, and I want to leave you something. My home, which is my life's work. Well, they take off for this house same day with the lawyer. When they get there, Matthew Lillard's character is there. Now, we already were introduced to him. He's passing himself off as a power company guy. He wants to check their breaker box in the basement, saying some cockamamie story about there's been power outages in the area, and they think it's originating from this house. Now, the house is all glass and steel. I wouldn't want to live there, but it's cool for the film, for what they're trying to do. And it has all these inscriptions all over the glass. And they go into the house, and people start exploring. And this is when Shannon Elizabeth gets a little annoying, because all she talks about is a nice bathroom. I swear to God, the first 25, 30 minutes of this film, this girl mentions a nice bathroom 5 or 6 times. And it's like, I get it. This girl is a hard-on for a nice bathroom, but it's terrible screenwriting. We don't need to hear her say it 5 or 6 times, but she says it a lot. And finally, the lawyer has Arthur sign the papers, and Matthew Lillard's in the basement, and he realizes that all the ghosts are there, and he doesn't know why. And he's totally freaked out by that. And the lawyer's trying to get away. Now, by this point, Matthew Lillard tells Arthur who he really is and why he's there. And he's trying to explain to him that there's ghosts in the basement. And by this point, the lawyer kind of sneaks out of the room, and he's down in the basement, and he's getting ready to take off on them. But he activates the house. But before he can get out, the house slams shut and locks, and nobody can leave, and the house starts shifting. Well, he's in the basement, and he's face to face with this one ghost, and he's backing away from her, and this glass door shuts on him and cuts him in half, right down the middle, sideways. And the front part of him, his eye starts twitching, and the front part of him slides down the glass. It's the best kill in the whole film. This is a lot like Ghost Ship, this kill, where the beginning of the film in Ghost Ship, which we'll get into when I review that one, is the best sequence of the whole movie in terms of kills. And this is definitely the best kill, because you see the back half of him still stuck to the glass, but the front part of him slides down slowly. Best kill of the whole film. Best moment of the film besides the beginning of this film, for sure. And then eventually, I'm going to fast forward through some things. Eventually, all the ghosts get released, and we find out that Cyrus is still alive, and his plan was to trick Arthur into coming there because he needs a 13th ghost, somebody that gave his life for love. Which Cyrus's plan is, he kidnaps his children, Kathy and his son, and he puts them in peril and says, if you kill yourself, your kids will live. And if he gets the 13 ghosts, he completes this ritual that he's trying to complete with the house and everything. And something. You got to watch the movie to find out. There's a lot of exposition around this part of the film. And Cyrus gets killed. Arthur saves his kids. They get out of the house. The ghosts go off into the sunset. And so does our family. And it's the end of the film. Now, the negatives about this film, and there are, besides Shannon Elizabeth's character talking about nice bathrooms every frickin' 5 minutes in this film, and it gets annoying as hell. The son, now kids are always iffy in films. Sometimes you can connect with them. They're very fun to be around, like the kids from Stranger Things or the kids from The Goonies. There's always examples of really good kids in films that you can connect to and care about. This film, this little boy, no offense, he's annoying as hell. And I know kids can be annoying, but this kid just grates on your goddamn nerves during the film. And I thank God he disappears for a large chunk of the second half of the film, because he's just annoying anytime he's on screen. And also, the nanny character really serves no purpose other than it's another character to threaten the ghosts can go after in a sequence during the film. That's about it. Matthew Lillard's character ends up getting killed in a gruesome way. His character's fine, although Matthew Lillard's turned up to 13 in this film, but he's still an enjoyable character. I like his character. F. Murray Abraham gives a good performance, so does Tony Shalhoub. But Shannon Elizabeth really doesn't serve much of a purpose either. She's the daughter, but she disappears for a large chunk of the second half of the film as well. The rapid-fire editing is the monkey on this film's back. Besides the script's not the greatest, the editing will give you a freaking seizure in this film. It's so quickly cut in sequences of this film, you could barely register what the hell is going on. I hate when directors do that or editors do that. It serves no purpose, and they're trying to create excitement out of nothing, and it sucks. That's one major monkey on the back of this film, the rapid-fire editing. It's terrible. And the sound design's so freaking loud with rapid-fire editing, it'll give you a freaking headache, I swear to God. I saw this opening weekend with my now wife and my buddy and his girlfriend when it came out back in 2001. And when I walked out of the theaters, I enjoyed it. I can still sit down and enjoy this film, but there's a lot of freaking problems with this movie. The ghosts are not one of them, though. The makeup effects by K&B Effects are great. The ghosts look fantastic. And the gore moments, when they do happen, are fun and they're practical. There's some CGI with the machine of this house, and it doesn't look the greatest, but this was 2001, and they had a nice-sized budget, but it wasn't that huge. Overall, you can have a good time with it. Some of the acting's pretty good. The makeup effects come off great. The house looks cool. The production design is really cool, and it's nicely shot, nicely lit. It's just the editing is awful. Whoever made a decision should have, I don't know. I hate when they do that shit. And in the beginning of the film, there's a lot of Sam Raimi-esque shots in the dump where they're at in the beginning of the film trying to get that ghost. There's a lot of Evil Dead type shots in the beginning of the film, but I can forgive that. I don't know, maybe they're playing homage to Sam Raimi. Who knows? But overall, I would give 13 Ghosts a 6 out of 10. This was definitely a step down from House on Haunted Hill for sure. Yes, it's just definitely not as good of a film by far. It's not that interesting. I mean, there's some cool stuff in there. The ghosts are awesome. But even some parts of this movie just drag. It's kind of boring for a 1 hour and 31 minutes film. It's just not the greatest. You can still sit down and have a good time with it, but it's not the greatest thing. 6 out of 10 for 13 Ghosts. Have you ever seen this film? What are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. I greatly appreciate it. I'll be back this weekend, either Friday or Saturday, with Ghost Ship. And that'll complete my Dark Castle reviews for this Halloween season. I'm going to move on to something else. But I hope everyone's doing well out there, and I'll be back soon. Thanks. Bye.